Shalom, call halal Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai Ba'ashim Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us this truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word of truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David, to the Akwat that are listening and learning, being a pillar of rest, the 144,000, the one-third, the hopeful elect of Israel. I'm the brother Yahshua. I'm back with the World War Daily Update. Shalom and salutations to you as well. Shout out to the Akia drunk forever. And I'm going to Adawan Ratazah bring something out of importance. All right. So we're going to start right here at Joel 3. And it's, it's more of the same. It's going to be this. All right. 3 and 9, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords. Okay, a plowshare is a gardening tool. Sword is a weapon of war. Pruning hook, and your pruning hook's into spears. Pruning hook is a gardening tool. A spear is a weapon of war. Let the weak say, I am strong. Okay, so in this case, the land of Israel is surrounded by Arabs, if you will. And those Arabs are ready to strike now because they believe that they're stronger than they were. Iran has given up money and arms and weapons, right? Here we got arms and weapons. Now Hezbollah is saying, I'm strong. Now Hamas is saying, I'm strong. Now Yemen, or the Houthi rebels, right? I'm strong. The Iraqi Revolutionary Guard, right? They're sharing weapons over there. Well, guess what? Who else is sharing weapons? All right. State Department, this is Democracy Now! With Amy Goodman, who used to be a woman. State Department official resigns, says Israel is using U.S. arms to massacre civilians in Gaza. So going back, right, to Joel, let the weak say I'm strong. All right. They've been saying they were weak since World War II. They let us out, right, of the camps, and now we're strong. Now we're over there doing, committing atrocities, right? Genocide and gassing. We plan to gas people in spider holes, right? Because they're strong now. Well, let's look into this. We're going to let Amy give a little update here. And then I'm going to bring Netanyahu out. And we'll look at some of the hypocrisy that he's spewing as to why they're actually massacring civilians in Gaza. All right, here we go.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Amidst growing international condemnation of Israel's month-long assault on Gaza, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is back in Israel today to meet with Israeli officials, where he continued to emphasize Israel's right to defend itself following the October 7th Hamas attack. Meanwhile, the White House continues to dismiss calls for a full ceasefire, saying instead any pauses in fighting should be temporary and localized. This comes as the independent news outlet in these times reports the White House has requested an unprecedented loophole in arms spending to allow it to, quote, be able to conduct arms deals with Israel in complete secrecy without oversight from Congress or the public, unquote. Even as experts say, Israel's been using U.S.-supplied weapons to commit war crimes, unquote.
Let the weak say I am strong. Okay? That's going on all over what they call the Middle East.
Meanwhile, a new HuffPost report cites 5 current and 1 recently departed State Department official who say their, quote, expertise and standard decision-making processes are being treated as largely irrelevant to President Joe Biden's strategy on the war, which prioritizes support for Israel, unquote. One official described, quote, particular concern about the town hall for the department's branch on human rights. Managers who described the branch as state's conscience indicated they aren't sure if they're getting through to more senior officials. For more, we're joined by Josh Paul, the State Department official who resigned last month in protest of Biden's push to increase arms sales to Israel amidst its siege on Gaza, calling it short-sighted, destructive, and contradictory. In his resignation letter that went viral, Josh Paul wrote, quote, "We cannot be both against occupation and for it. We cannot be both for freedom and against it. And we cannot be for a better world while contributing to one that is materially worse. I believe to the core of my soul that the response Israel is taking, and with it the American support both for that response and for the status quo of the occupation, will only lead to more and deeper suffering for both the Israeli and the Palestinian people, and is not in the long-term interest. And it is not in the long-term American interest," unquote. Josh Paul is former director of Congressional and Public Affairs for the Bureau of Political Military Affairs in the State Department, which oversees arms transfers to Israel and other foreign nations. Welcome to Democracy Now!, Josh Paul.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm glad to join you.
Can you elaborate on why you decided to resign? You're a veteran State Department official. Why you said no?
Yes, thank you. I decided to resign for three reasons. The first and most pressing of which is the very, I believe, uncontroversial fact that US-provided arms should not be used to massacre civilians, should not be used to result in massive civilian casualties. And that is what we are seeing in Gaza, and what we were seeing very soon after the October 7th horrific attack by Hamas. I do not believe US-provided arms should be used to kill civilians. It is that simple. Secondly, I also believe that, as your previous guest identified, there is no military solution here, and we are providing arms to Israel on a path that has not led to peace, has not led to security, neither for Palestinians nor for Israelis. It is a moribund process and a dead-end policy. And yet, when I tried to raise both of these concerns with State Department leadership, there was no appetite for discussion, no opportunity to, look at any of the potential arms sales and raise concerns about them, simply a directive to move forward as quickly as possible. And so,
Okay, so remember what's going on here. This is a veteran State Department official who resigned, Josh Paul, because he's like, this is some bullshit. I'm not going to condone this genocide. I'm not now. Okay. Now, this is going to be the prevailing stance, if you will, with many individuals. They're going to, one by one, begin to see, oh shit, we're looking bad out here. I got to flip. I got to flip on this and go with the other side. All right, and that's in the scripture. We'll bring it up.
I felt I had
Lord,
to
what?
So talk more about that. Talk more about what kind of dialogue goes on at the State Department. And if you, for example, have met with Tony Blinken, the Secretary of State, not to mention President Biden, to voice your concerns. And
so what he's going to say is, well, these niggas are fucked up what they're doing, and I can't be a part of it. So I have to resign and show my support for what is right, or for the other side, and that's the Most High, making them change horses in the middle of the stream.
What about other veteran State Department officials?
So typically there is a very robust policy process in the State Department for arms transfers, and there are a lot of those, right? So we're talking about 20,000 arms sale cases a year that the State Department processes, which could be anything from bullets to radios to fighter jets. And for each of those, there is a lengthy process sometimes that looks at, what are the pros and cons of the sale, what are its human rights implications. That has not happened in this context for Israel.
That's beat your plowshares into pruning hook, beat your gardening tools into weapons, right? And then what does it mean? Let the weak say I am strong. Let your allies who don't have the weapons that they need, right, be able to suddenly rise up and start committing genocide.
And as I say, when I raised those concerns against the existing laws, against the existing policies, there was no appetite for that discussion. I have not personally spoken to Secretary Blinken about this, nor certainly to President Biden. But I know that in the time since I left, there has been increasing discussion within the State Department, but has not led to any change of policies. In fact, as you heard earlier on your show, Vice President Harris was just saying yesterday that we will not place any conditions whatsoever on our arms to Israel. And that is unlike any arms transfer decision.
You see these swords right here? You see these spears? They used to be pruning hooks and hula hoes, right? You know what a hula hoe is, right? That's a prostitute from Hawaii.
I've ever been a part of. There's always discussion about should we condition this to address human rights issues.
So who's leading this, Josh Paul? Who is preventing this? Who is suppressing all of this discussion within the State Department?
I honestly think in some ways it is coming from the very top of the US government and from the Biden White House. There are many in the State Department and across government who have reached out to me in recent weeks since I left to express their support, but also to say how difficult and how horrific they are finding US policy, and yet are being told when they try to raise these concerns, look, you can get emotional support. If you're finding this difficult, we'll find you something else to work on.
Okay, I'm going to skip up to this point right here. Let's see. This is the same interview, same guy, so I'm wondering if he's saying anything different. So let's check.
Senate Majority Leader says he won't consider this bill, but it sounds like there is enough support in both houses for that extra, not the 3.8 or 3.3 billion yearly aid to Israel, but an extra $14 billion. You're the expert on arms sales. What would it be used for?
Yeah, and let me just say, I think there is, almost or near unanimous congressional support for this further military assistance to Israel. I think what's fascinating about that is also there's a massive disconnect between where Congress is on these issues and where I think if you look at the polling, the American public are. And I think the current crisis is really crystallizing that difference. I don't think it will make any difference in terms of the passage of this package, but it may do down the line. With regards to this package specifically, it includes $3.5 billion in foreign military financing. Israel can draw on that to purchase essentially what it wants. And what's unusual about this as well, in addition to the removal of the notification, is that Israel would be entitled, under the proposal sent to Congress, to spend all of this money within its own defense industry. Israel is, of course, a top 10 exporter of arms around the world, often competing with the United States. And the idea that we will be providing funding to subsidize that competition is really unimaginable. But on top of that, the package also provides further funding from the Defense Department side for air and missile defense for Israel, for Iron Dome. And let me be clear, my concern here is on lethal assistance to Israel. When it comes to protecting civilians from rocket attacks, I believe that they should be. I don't believe anyone should have to live in fear of their homes, from rockets raining down on them. Although I believe that's the case whether they are in Israel under Iron Dome or whether they are in Gaza, for example. And of course, we never asked that question.
Scathing. All right, some more of the same, okay? I wanted to quickly, what was it? I don't know if this is going to cooperate with this. All right. Netanyahu uses Bible to justify what this guy just said he was doing, massacring civilians. Okay? And what he says, we're going to get right to it. So this is the majority report with Sam Cedar. Netanyahu uses Bible 3 days ago. And this is very significant. Let me see.
Most people have no clue that in 2023
Slovakia. Bear with me on that. Okay.
Always said, never.
Let's listen to what he says. The first words out of his mouth are Amalek. And you have to understand who Amalek is. He said, remember what Amalek did to you. Here's the reason why we get to go commit genocide. Remember what Amalek did to you. Listen to what he says.
One.
Slow. Let's start at the top. Here we go.
At those of the religious fundamentalists that you describe.
Yeah, here he goes. He's, go ahead.
You must remember what Amalek has done to you.
You must remember what Amalek has done to you. He's talking to the Israeli people. Okay? Now, who is Amalek? Is the question. Amalek is the chief house of the Dukes of Edom. Okay, Amalek is one of the sons of Edom. Okay, he's the chief house of the Edomites. Well, this guy, while claiming to be Edom's brother, Jacob, is actually Jacob's brother, Edom. This guy is Amalek from the top. So the snow job that he's using on the world right now, he's claiming to be, right, Jacob, as in Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And he's actually Abraham, Isaac, and Esau. Amalek being the 12, the top tribe. Okay, so why is he ducking right here? This is uh, Sun Tzu type military prowess, if you will. He's convincing you that he's the good guy when he's not. He is Amalek. He said, remember what Amalek did? Well, you put yourself in Jacob's place. You are Amalek, right? How dare you? I got to go back and let him say that again. Okay, let's see.
Fundamentalist that you describe.
Yeah, here he goes. He's good.
You must remember what Amalek has done to you, says our Holy Bible, and we do remember, and we are fighting our brave troops and combatants who are now in Gaza or around Gaza and in all other regions in Israel are joining this chain of Jewish heroes, a chain that has started 3,000 years ago from Joshua ben Nun until the heroes of 1948, the Six-Day War, the 73 October War, and all other wars in this country. Our hero troops, they have one supreme main goal: to completely defeat the murderous enemy and to guarantee our existence in this country. We've always said, never again. Never again is now.
Never again, except, it only means never again for us.
Well, the
Stop it right there. So when you understand that that guy is Amalek, then you see the degree of diabolicalness of what's actually going on. Anyway, where were we? State Department. We were at Amy here, and Amy, right, was dealing with arms, and who's on whose side? U.S. supplying everything they need for the genocide. Yeah. So let's go back to Joel, and let me look for something. Salaki, let me see. What am I looking for? Wow. I'm not finding it. Hold on. Let's see. And it shall come to pass. Salaki, bear with me. I'm not seeing what I'm looking for here. Salaki, let me look real quickly at Joel 2. Let's see. We'll see. Okay, maybe that's something different. Slovakia. Return, let's see. Yeah, no. I'm gonna have to look that up. It was about the other nations turning. Um, yeah, it's not here. It's in a different spot. So Slovakia, let me see. Let me make sure. Yourselves. Hmm. Mm-mm. Oh no. Huh. All right. Well, I'll do a different lesson on that when I put it all together. So I thought something was below that, but apparently it's something else. So anyway, here's what's going on. Beat your plowshares into swords, right? And your pruning hooks into spears. That's going on, right? There's Rosie the Riveter. Remember that? Let the weak say I'm strong. Who is that? Right now, Hezbollah was weak 10 years ago. Hezbollah was weak 20 years ago. Hamas was weak 20 years ago. Right now, they're like this. We're ready. Let's do this. And on the same side, okay, you got uh, Israel, right, saying that you Americans, you have the weapons that we need to put down all of our enemies, and we need those right now. Right? What is that? Let the weak say I'm strong. They wouldn't be conducting a genocide if they didn't have the weapons to do so, right? Well, they're getting them. Right? And this is about those weapons. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I'm strong. And then, right, all this is going to do is, encourage or embolden what is coming, which is that gathering, right? Joel 3 and 2, I will gather the armies of the world in the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is the Middle East. And we see that, okay? Little do they know they're walking into an ambush, which is a different lesson. Anyway, with that, we hope that the elect were edified. What we see, again, is the world careening into World War III. Everybody is choosing sides. Everybody's arming each other, right? Oh, big bad Iran is giving weapons to Hezbollah, but you're getting all the weapons that you, what? You're not doing that? It's crazy. It's crazy. It can only end one way. All the finger pointing. The bad guy is Iran because Iran is funding and arming Hezbollah. 14 billion? Somebody's giving Israel 14 billion and more weapons? Come on. It's bad out there. Ye hypocrites, right? So with that, we hope that the elect are edified, you brothers and few sisters. Shalom.